mind sharing who's there because I'm table topics master, just so I know who's in the house.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
helpful. You click on that recording, Len. Len. Okay, restart. Hello, fellow Toastmasters. It's good to be back here in person. It is warm in here. Sylvia, thanks for keeping us posted on the goings-on with the boiler and whatnot, and rearranging the room. And we, behind the scenes, Len and I and Sylvia kind of made sure everything was going to work online. It wasn't rearranged and whatnot. When things are repaired, things go crazy, as you know that from your own households. I'd like to have Mike Licata step up as our inspirator today. Provide some inspiration for us today, Mike.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and our guests this morning. Real quick, I just want to wish everyone a safe and healthy holiday season. I know there's a lot of flu and other disease going around, so I wish everyone a safe and sane holiday season. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mike. I did want to make a mention right before the meeting. I know this is kind of steps over the VPE things we're going to be doing, but Marty Justin just presented me with certificate. He is level 5. He's been working on it for a couple of years, he said. So congratulations, Marty. And he's coming up here. No problem. No.
You know what I was thinking we could do? I was thinking it'd be nice to promote the pathways, is to possibly get a form or another piece of paper, and we could make like a trail of them of some sort, a collage or some sort.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, no problems. That's a good idea. Yes. Thanks again, Marty, for all you do for Toastmasters. I know you're very active and you participate at a high level, so we appreciate that. So I just want to make an announcement of that. I don't really have many other announcements. Any short announcements here real quick? We can do it at the end as well if you can't think of it now. Okay, well, let's welcome our Toastmaster up. Tracy Farrell.
Gerald, should we do the pledge?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, and attitude of gratitude. Let's start off with, I have a step stool today. I'm not on my tippy toes, but it's Christmas. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Or for some people, is it really? Sometimes people think it's extremely stressful. For me, it probably is. I started off my career in retail, working 70 hours a week this time of year. It was horrible. I like cringed every time Christmas was coming around because I was working, I was just too tired to enjoy it. Now I'm worried about getting taxes out and tax rolls out. It's the same thing. It's a stressful time of year. And some people get depressed at this time of year. We all go through it. There's so much going on. And I had this conversation with my son a couple of weeks ago, and it's like, you know, you should just be grateful and thankful for everything you have. You have it good. And in my I shouldn't say he's a teenager. He acts like a teenager in his sarcastic little manner. He says, why? What good is gratitude gonna get me? And I was like, oh. But I didn't have an answer. So of course I had to look these things up. And there's quite a few things that gratitude does for us. It really lowers our stress levels. Number 2, it gives us appreciation of the present. We're really in the now, and we can understand what's going on around us. We're grateful for what we have just today and now, the small things. We get better sleep this time of year. That's something we all need. We're more optimistic. And that's a good thing too, because the people around us are more optimistic. If we exude that optimism, which brings us to number 5, it goes on to a ripple effect. everyone around us is more grateful and has a better attitude. And then when everyone around us, we strengthen them and we strengthen ourselves, which is good for all of us too. We don't feel, number 7, we don't feel as anxious. So that takes care of our anxiety. Why should I worry if the taxes don't get out? You're gonna pay them anyways. If everything doesn't get out at Christmas time, if I'm not working 70 hours in retail, which I don't do anymore, thank God. But if we're not working 70 hours, people are gonna get their Christmas presents. Stores are gonna survive. It's not that bad. There's very few huge emergencies. And then finally, gratitude. We really are thankful and gracious for what we have. We can sit and realize how good we really have it. We're living in the United States, in one of the greatest countries in the world. Very few of us are living on the streets. And even if we are living on the streets, there's services for us. There's things to provide for us. So we should all be gracious for everything that we have. I'm going to start off with our role holders, and we'll talk more about gratitude and what it is throughout the meeting. The first one, I'm going to start off with Gerald Stevens. Gerald, do you have a word for us? Get off.
Fine, I did not mind being even a little taller than I am. The word of the day is astute. I like the word astute. I heard it in conversation the other day and I thought that's the word of the day. It's an adjective, having or showing the ability to accurately assess situations or people and turn to one's own advantage. Use it in table topics and throughout the meeting and maybe throughout the day. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. And Carol Halstead is here. Carol, can you tell us what you'll be doing as Master and Grammarian? And you're muted, Carol.
As a master, I will be counting the ahs and ums, pregnant pauses. And as grammarian, I will note good uses of grammar in the English language and maybe some not so good uses. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Carol. And our quote master, Eric, can you give us a quote for the day?
Yes, thank you, ma'am Toastmaster. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. I have a quote here by Brian Tracy, and it goes along with our theme for today. It says, develop an attitude of gratitude and give thanks for everything that happens to you, knowing that every step forward is a step toward achieving something bigger and better than your current situation. That was from Brian Tracy. Back to you, ma'am Toastmaster.
That's great, Eric. Thank you. And Mike Florio, you're our jester. What can you tell us today?
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, good morning. I have some sad news to report. The inventor of the wind chill factor, he died yesterday. He was 94 years old, but apparently before he died, he said he felt like he was only 63. Madam Toastmaster. I recycled that joke, Tracy.
Thank you, Mr. Florio. And we can all understand that here in Western New York. Our timer, Jen, can you tell us what your job entails?
Yes, I will be keeping track of time today, specifically for our table topics speakers, our speech speakers, and our evaluators. It is important to make sure that we are respecting everyone's time, and that is why we keep time at Toastmasters. So you will see the green background when you've reached your minimum time length, the yellow background when you are in the very middle of that time range, and the red background when you have reached your time limit. And that is definitely time to wrap up if you haven't already. So our speeches today, I'm expecting will be 5 to 7 minutes unless someone tells me otherwise, 2 to 3 for evaluators, and 1.5 to 2 for our table topics contestants. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. And our quiz master, this is one of our newest roles. Marty, can you tell us what you'll be doing as quiz master? Marty? He's very astute today.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As Quizmaster, I'll be testing my listening skills as we all test our listening skills at Toastmasters, and making note of a few questions. Excuse me, not to try to stump anyone, to just find out who's listening, and I'll ask for those responses towards the end of the meeting. And I hope that everyone will be as astute as possible during the meeting so we can help answer the questions. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, Tracy.
Thank you, Marty. So we have a little bit of housekeeping to do. Our first evaluator is going, so Kate, can you know that our first, or Sylvia, our first evaluator is going to be Mike Licata. He'll be evaluating Phil Russell. We are looking for a second evaluator for Mark Crane, if anybody wants to step up. No, Dave, you are, oh, I'm sorry. Dave Licata is doing Mark Crane, our third evaluator. Our second evaluator, we need an evaluator for Nancy Rose. Does anybody want to step up for that? Volunteers? So Beth Banks will be evaluating number 2, evaluating Nancy Rose. Some more housekeeping, just so everyone knows who is in the room with us today. We have Dave Licata, Beth Banks, Nancy Rose, Mark Crane, Marty Johnson, Sylvia Baptiste, Mike Licata, Jackie Kenny. We have Gerald Stevens and myself. Len Thornton is here in the room, but we don't want to call on him. He's not feeling so well, I'm thinking. So we're going to leave Len by himself. So that covers all of our roles, except for by far the most important one, our general evaluator. Sylvia, can you come up and tell us your job? Oh, I like this. Feels so tall.
Well, this morning I am going to try to be an astute general evaluator. I'm evaluating the evaluators and our Toastmaster. And now we'll do the reports at the end. Thank you.
Thank you. And Sylvia has been gracious enough. I have to leave a little bit early, so she is going to wrap up the meeting for us if need be. But we get to go on to our table topics now. Kate, are you in the room and can you tell us about table topics?
I am. Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster today. What a beautiful topic and theme to share with us at this time of year where we can feel overwhelmed. It's a blessed thing to remind ourselves of the things we have to be thankful for. And Thanksgiving somewhat kicks that off. And I love that you're continuing it and reminding us. Let us all be astute today and use the word of the day and know that there are a very few, only one, I believe, Toastmaster member who doesn't already have a role. So she probably knows she's on deck, but that means everyone might be on deck. So be prepared to be called upon because of that. And I will say we're a very large Toastmaster club in general, as most of us know, and it is uncommon that we have duplicate roles, but many clubs have 10 members or 12 members on a regular basis or less, even 15, and they often get called on multiple times. Okay, I will start off today with Jackie Kenny. I believe Jackie does not have a role, or am I mistaken? Jackie, join us at the lectern. She's coming up now. Okay, so like Tracy was saying, for everyone. This is for everyone, not just Jackie. So having an attitude of gratitude, staying positive, being optimistic, it seems maybe at first contrived. Like, how can you just feel positive or optimistic or have gratitude and that bring change in your life? How does that manifest a positive life? Well, this mental state can grow stronger with practice, and an attitude of gratitude can get you far. So today I'm going to share 3 quotes for each participant, and they can expound upon that quote about gratitude or choose whatever they wish. So our first contestant is Jackie Kenny, and the quote I have for you, Jackie, is from Maya Angelou. And Maya Angelou said, "Let gratitude be the pillow upon which you kneel to say your prayers and welcome good in your life." Let gratitude be the pillow upon which you kneel to say your prayers and welcome good in your life. Maya Angelou. Jackie Kenny, please use the word of the day, astute.
I will certainly use the word of the day. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. This is a good topic for me because I once, as part of my job at the Mental Health Association, I facilitated a group in North Tonawanda for people dealing with anxiety and depression. One of the things I did with them was give them a sheet to write things on. And it started out by saying, have an attitude of gratitude. You woke up today. Of the time, they had health issues, they had mental health issues, and in some cases, they were living with very little money in straitened circumstances. But my measure of them was accurate. I got back so many wonderful things, gratitude for their dear friend who lived down the hall that they spent a lot of time with or they ate meals with, gratitude for the fact that they had some place to live. They were very astute in coming up with small items in their life that they could feel thankful for. And I really do believe that if you have that kind of an attitude in your life, it spills over and you become a happier person to be around with a lot more interests in life, and you look for the good. So look for the good, everyone. Thank you, Madam Table Topics.
Thank you, Jackie, very much. I love your sharing your personal experiences with that. That's beautiful. All right, second, let's call upon, let's see who we will call upon. Mike Florio. Mike Florio here in Zoom land with me today. All right, the quote I have for you today, and remember to use the word of the day, astute. The quote is from Eckhart Tolle. He was a philosopher, and he said, acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. Acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance by Eckhart Tolle. Mike Florio, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Wow, acknowledging of the good that you have. I try and stay very positive all the time and acknowledge the good because I feel like I have so much and I've been blessed really with a lot, and I'm very thankful. I'm not the most astute guy in the world, but I work hard. I work as hard as I can. I hope that, I try to not have anybody outwork me, and I'm very thankful. I'm thankful for the job I have. I'm thankful for my family. And when I start feeling down about things going wrong, it's funny, I'll stand around and I'll go, well, that refrigerator works, that TV works, that all little things, right? That faucet works, because things break all the time. Things go wrong. When you have 15 houses, there's always something that goes wrong, and there's something that needs to be repaired. So I have to be grateful and thankful that everything is working, and then go, well, you know what, that's just such a small thing in life that has gone wrong. It's the little things, right? Don't sweat the small stuff, they say. And that's very true, because with me, I always felt like, well, if it has anything to do with money, it's really not a problem, because you just spend the money and fix it. It's the big things in life. It's your health that you really have to be grateful for, and your family, because those are the things of value. All the other stuff is just kind of out there. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Mike. It is. It's just out there, isn't it? Gosh, we got to focus on those optimistic, positive things, because there's always going to be trouble. Thank you, Mike. All right, our third and final contestant today will also be from Zoom land. Let's call on Eric Schneider today. And Eric, your quote is from Oprah. So Oprah reminds us in her weekly intentions that being mindful and having gratitude is like filling up our happiness bank account, where it can earn higher interest with every deposit we make of the happiness and gratitude. She said, her quote, "Gratitude can transform any situation. It alters your vibration, moving you from negative energy to positive. It's the quickest, easiest, most powerful way to affect change in your life. Gratitude can transform you." That's all of what Oprah said. I won't repeat it. I think you get the idea. Eric Schneider, use that word of the day.
Ma'am, Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, I'll be very astute about this. What you were saying, Kay, about what Oprah said, I do have so much gratitude, because I walk the halls every day at Canisius, and every time I see people, I always give like positive fist bumps every day, just to make sure that people's going to have a good day. Even if they're having a bad day, I try to make it better, because right now we're almost in finals week, and everybody's going, crazy. But me, as my natural self, I tend to try to keep things at a more calmer and positive pace, just so people just don't get overwhelmed. Are they going to take the advice? Maybe not, probably, maybe so, but whatever. It's just that being mindful is the important key to positivity, because I always tell people, don't think negative, because that's going to overpower you. That's just going to overtake you. Look at the positive aspects. You just say to yourself, you got this. You have the potential. You have the positivity to do well on your exams, on your tests, and on projects that you have to get done. I always try to push that positivity into people. It's a great feeling. And I should take my own advice, because yes, I get stressed, and maybe I should, take my own advice. Think positive, stay focused on the path. And I think that is what we all should do, is just think positive and go forward with smiles and positive fist bumps. Thank you, ma'am, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Eric, with the smiles and the positive fist bumps. I think we think of that when we think of you often, not just at Canisius, but in so much of your life. And yeah, it is easy. I'm glad you're giving yourself, remind us of our own advice. Remind us of our own advice, because it is easy to slip into that. All right, let's do a timers report, and then Wordmaster, you're on deck. Timer report, Jen, please.
Yes, Jackie and Mike both qualified with the buffer, so they just went over. And Eric came in the middle range at 153. So everyone qualifies for time.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jen. And thank you, Dr. Stevens, for getting up to the lectern. What is our word master report for table topics?
I appreciate the on deck alert as well. Thanks, Katie. That helps a lot. In regards to table topics, all of our speakers did qualify, Jackie, Mike, and Eric. In regards to other people using the word astute today, Tracy, Marty, and Katie so far. And I'm hoping for the rest of the meeting, we'll use the word astute in the speeches and evaluations. Sometimes it falls off, so I'd like to see that for sure. And let's turn it over to, if it's okay with Katie, to our Toastmaster.
You, Mr. President. So we heard a lot of in our table topics about gratitude and how to practice it. But did you know there's really 2 stages of gratitude? The first is really acknowledging the gratitude in our own lives and in ourselves. And really thinking about the little things. Maybe it's a sunny day and man, I managed to get this done today. Those little things in our lives. But the second thing is recognizing the sources of goodness outside of our lives. What happened outside of our lives that helped us come here today? We can look at that in Toastmasters. All of our DTMs, yeah, they worked really hard. They did that themselves, but it was the club that evaluated them for a year or 2 years that helped them grow. So a lot of us, we don't get to where we are by ourselves. It's about the people around us that gets us to where we are. So once again, there's 2 stages, acknowledging that gratitude within ourselves and acknowledging outside of ourselves and how to get to that place that we should be thankful for. And we all have so many things to be thankful for. We're going to go on to our speaker portion. Phil Russell is going to be our first speaker. Thank you, Phil, for stepping up today. And he's going to be evaluated by another person that stepped up, Mike Licata. Mike, can you tell us about Phil?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Phil is working on his pathways, VC. He's working on level 5. His previous speech was about prospecting for new members for AM Lockport Toastmasters, and today's speech is how to advance you and your protege. He says, I have cloned myself several times. Now it's your turn. Phil Russell. Thank you.
Thank you. Phil, you didn't put in this title, but I'm going to put one in for you. Now it's your turn. Phil Russell.
Madam Timer, before you get started, I become a little astute toward details at times, especially towards the pledge, because of family members that have served our country, and for my gratitude for their service and towards the gratitude towards this great country of ours. So I will lead us in a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I could be a pain at times with that stuff, but let's move on. Madam Timer. You all know last time I told you, 1982, I started in this Toastmasters group. Well, it wasn't this one. It was the predecessor, which was Lockport Toastmasters, which met at noon, to improve myself. And I've done many things since I joined Toastmasters. I feel I have cloned at least 3 individuals. And now I think it's your turn to clone for Toastmaster purposes. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. I got into Toastmasters when I was coaching. About 20 years after I left coaching, I found out I had cloned somebody. Bruce came up to me at a reunion and said, Coach, thanks. I said, what did I do? He said, I'm coaching now. I've been coaching for the last, since I left college. and I got a teaching job, and I'm coaching my son now. It's great. It's wonderful. Financial services, financial professional. Jeff was one I brought into the business. I got a call from his uncle, said, can you help this guy out? Sure. Introduced him to a few people. He's off and running, and he is doing phenomenal. It's great. That's what you do. Sometimes you don't even know you're doing it. Toastmasters, we need to clone ourselves. I cloned myself. I'll give you an example of that one, and I'll get a little more detail later. Mr. Dave Licata. We were looking for members. I kept bugging Dave. He said, no, I'm working. I got all this business. I got to do this stuff. Okay, Dave. Finally, I said, Dave, we got a morning meeting. What? I said, we have a morning meeting. Oh, I didn't know that. 7 o'clock in the morning. Why didn't you come over? That might be a good idea. Dave joined. Now, Dave will tell you this himself. He was a communications guy at Lockport State, and I think he took a few courses like I did at community college. And he's a communications guy. Perfect fit. Plus, he loves to communicate with people all the time. I brought him in, and he went to work, and he got this club not only started, but chartered and everything else. Great job. I applaud you, Dave. Now it's our turn to look at the situation here. I was a little concerned today. I understood Lenny has the flu. Now, not all of us like Zoom. We don't like pathways. I'll get into that. But what's important is I was concerned if Lenny wasn't here, how would we do this? I'm here. I'm trying to avoid contact with people because I just had my flu shot yesterday. I put it off for a couple of months because of my eye surgery. And so I'm a little bit concerned about that. I'm going to making sure we stay healthy, as everybody needs to do. So I'm staying away because of it. And Zoom brings me to you. That's great. I like it. I was planning on coming, but I said, I've got to stay away. I didn't go to a meeting yesterday because I didn't want to get into the flu. My immune system is down because of inactivity. I know that, so it's time to build myself back up. If Lenny wasn't here, who would do it? We need to clone Lenny. I'm not talking about cloning like they did with that sheep. I'm talking about finding somebody to replace ourselves. I'm talking about we have a president. Jerry has done this a couple of times. We need the next president to be prepared and ready to go. We need educational vice president. Kate already did some cloning, I think. It looks to me when I see over this other computer, I see Eric sitting there, and I think Kate did some cloning on him. That's what we need to do, is get somebody. We already have it set up in Toastmasters, and it's through this pathways thing. It's called mentor-mentee. I call it cloning. The reason is build yourself to replace. I was off for a few months. In my business, it's going to take me about 6 months to get back to speed. But what's important is I had to back up in 2 people at my office that took care of everything. Actually 3, actually 4, because I went with them because they have the backup that I needed. Now, Zoom. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I'm here. Thank you very much. Carol is here. Eric is at work. I got to see my cousin Tom because of Zoom. Let's be thankful for what we have. I have a lot of gratitude for that. I do. I really do. Pathways. How many of you remember that I was one of the biggest detractors of pathways? Jennifer, am I right or am I wrong? I see you in this other computer. I was. Now that I've gotten into it, now this is important. I am advancing again. I'm learning things. I'm going to try something new. It's called podcast. A little bit leery of it, but I'm going to do it. I want to get my old clone back on service and say, look, Dave, you're in communications. What is this? What is this Zoom about? Now you're cosmopolitan, you're world traveler, and with this communications, you went to Europe to learn about it. You were in London. What they call it over there? The telly? This is the telly. We're learning how to use the telly. That's what's good about this Pathways thing. Now, hybrid, I'm sorry, I get that backwards. But Pathways is teaching us how to use Zoom and how to use this computer correctly. That's pretty cool. And the more I get into it, they have a lot of new programs in there that are just up Dave Licata's alley. You can't believe if you go into each one of these things, it's amazing some of the stories or some of the things you can get into. So again, I challenge you. Phone yourself, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Phil. And he was very astute. It is your turn to carry on that torch. Our next speaker is Nancy Rose. She's going to be evaluated by Beth Banks. Beth, can you tell us a little bit about Nancy's speech? Beth. Thank you.
Finally, I'm coming after someone who is on my level. I love it. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Today, I have the opportunity to evaluate Nancy Rose. She is working on her motivation pathway. She's trying to bring all the techniques she needs to work on that past evaluators have given her, suggestions, things like that. She needs to, she's been told she needs to work on tone, gestures, and body language. So we'll see how things go. Her title, for those of you who are at home, those of us who are here, I think we knew the title before she started, before I said anything, but it is Holiday Cookie Taste Testing. So those of you that are home, I'm sorry you're missing the taste testing, but we look forward to having Nancy Rose tell us about her cookies. Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters.
In front of the.
Wait a minute, let's put this back.
Yep. Mike's
All right,
gonna help.
that's-
Mike's gonna help you.
Thank you, Mike.
Right now, before the time, I'm gonna call up my judges. Thank you for your patience.
Lift it up real quick. Yeah, thank you, bud.
And then forward for the chairs. No, I'll be fine. I'll go to the side of the left.
All right.
Go back in time.
Can you get in? If we're gonna have to sit.
Oh, so the judge is behind.
Maybe I can make it first. Yeah.
Okay, gonna throw for everybody?
Just about. Dave,
Oh,
Jackie, and Sylvia. Dave.
Oh, shit.
my true vocation.
That's Dave.
I'm there. Oh, baby.
Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmaster, and guests. Welcome to the holiday cooking taste off. Happy holidays.
Crazy.
I decided to do something fun today to help me relax.
to use all the techniques that have been suggested to me. And I also know that every season I sit down and I want to do something different to celebrate the season. And I always wanted to bake, but my busy schedule never allows me time. This year I made time to bake. And when I searched, there was a tremendous amount of recipes, but I picked 6 because I thought they were delicious. But I know I need to condense them to about three favorites. This way I can focus on quality and quantity because I want to pass them around to all my family and friends. So I have for you 3 excellent evaluators to help judge my recipes. And they will help me to pick their favorite recipe. And out of those, by process of elimination, we're going to get down to 3, and those will be the 3 that I use for my recipes. So you're ready to meet my judges. First, he's known to all of us as being a natural born Toastmaster. And recently I learned about his culinary excellence because he told me he was also born a natural born tester, Dave Licata.
I'll be doing the Simon Cowell part, ladies. Go ahead.
I know you know her for her taste and elegance and presentation, and this will help me to think about sophisticated palates among the people I'm going to give my desserts to. Jackie Kennedy. Finally, our next judge is very wise, and she has a surplus of experience and knowledge working with multicultural and diverse populations. And I know this will help me to tackle that diverse palate that everybody has in taste buds. Sylvia Becky. Everybody ready? Okay, we're going to start with your classic Hershey Kiss peanut butter cookie, and that's going to be paired up against the mint kiss with sugar cookie base. You may begin. I always find it interesting on how much care someone puts in to their cookie recipes and the desserts. The other day, I was given these cute little cherry infused vodka infused decorated maraschino cherries. So I wanted to do something fun and put some cherry to my decorations too, and really try to think out of the box. Did you taste both? Are you ready? Dave, what do you think about the first cookie? I'm going to give you the...
It's everything I hoped it would be.
Yum.
It has great mouthfeel. And it measures up to any Hershey Kiss peanut butter cookie I ever had.
What about the second cookie?
And because this is your speech, I won't go into the history of Hershey's Kisses, so I'll pass on the trivia. Hang on.
All right.
The mint is so good. The mint is so good.
It's delicious. I think you did a great job as far as mouthfeel goes, but also for appearance. Nice surrounding of peanut butter on the Hershey's Kiss. The other cookie is very tasty, but I think peanut butter wins the day.
Oh, okay, your favorite's peanut butter. Sylvia,
This is tough. Both of them are good. Yeah, I do like the traditional. I make them every year myself. But I do like the mint. That's different. I think I'm gonna go with the mint this year. That's different.
very nice. And Dave, what is your final?
What's your
Would you-
final?
Mint is extraordinary.
So it looks like the mint wins. Okay, using the mint. Next. Plate. We have your classic gingerbread man. Paired with. That's ginger snap coated in Ghirardelli chocolate. Those two are going up against each other. Taste.
I'm afraid the ginger snap got away from me because I almost snapped my tooth on it.
So it is heavy.
Yeah,
What about
but
the gingerbread? Go ahead and taste that.
well, that's nice. Very nice.
What's your choice? I think I know.
Little man.
The classic gingerbread man.
I can't help but notice the envy in Jen's eyes.
I'm gonna have to go with the gingerbread man. I like the spice of it. And he's very cute. That, that gets an extra
Thank
vote.
you.
I have to agree with the other two. I like the gingerbread man too.
Oh, then the gingerbread man. Wait.
You want us to do?
The next plate, we have a classic whoopie pie going against an Andy's Candies chocolate cookie. Yes. Got a little fancy.
Oh, man.
This is like a perfect pause.
Mhm.
Feels perfect.
Gotta hurry.
We are. I'm sure you got it. What do you think, Dave?
I love Andy's candies. This is a tough one. I'm gonna go with the Andes just because it's a little easier to eat.
Great. What about you, Jackie?
I'm gonna go with the Andes too. The mint really woke me up.
Awesome.
I do like the Andy Candy one also. I'm a big Andy Candy's favorite.
Well, there you go, everybody. We have it. My 3 favorite recipes that I'm gonna distribute to my family and friends. And I leave you with some grand gestures. I send you so much love and happy holidays to you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Keeping my cookies.
Me too. Heck to the table.
Oh, I feel really tall now. Thank you, Len, and thank you, Nancy. That was a wonderful presentation. Our next speaker is one of our newest Toastmasters, Mark Crane. He's going to be speaking, or his evaluator is going to be Dave Licata. Dave, can you tell us a little bit about Mark's speech?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Thank you for Lenny for bringing up that bottle of water so I can speak now and not have so many cookies in my mouth. Well, Mark, here's the deal. Phil Russell has called upon me and he has sharpened my vision, my hearing, and my teeth. So good luck, buddy. Now, Mark is going to take on a very interesting assignment today. And to his credit, he's going to do a change up. So he wants to change his style. And this is a part of Pathways. And Marty and Mark have delivered his goals for today. But the main thing is to be a little less military, a little less dogmatic, a little less papal, perhaps. And I have his title because Marty and Mark have something in common, that they tend to use too much verbiage. So I've cut it down to, the title of the speech is Mark Crane, something more palatable. Please welcome Mark Crane.
You, David. By the way, if he had a Christmas cap on, he'd look like a Keebler elf. But that's all good. And good morning, AM Lockport. To all of you people, good and blessed people out in Zoom land. Thank you for joining us this morning. I brought up my gloves today, and that wasn't by accident. I have a tendency not to use hand gestures. So I just wanted those down there so I can remind myself, use the hands mark. And also the fact that I really don't like the podium that much because I was told that I probably grip it too much. You know, like a pastor trying to bang out that terrible sermon for everybody that wants to have peace in their lives, and he's telling them how bad they are. And you know what? For the most part, I was using this so I wouldn't fall. And I had my vision cleared, my cataracts done, and I can see for 2 miles, but I can't read. So I got my glasses. But I'm more astute in the world today because of what happened to me last year in the hospital. I'm clearer of thought and also of my surroundings. And I'm trying to be absolutely more sensitive to the people around me. And you know, the military style, that authoritative style, it doesn't wash with a lot of people. People don't want to be told what to do. And like you folks, you good people, is I want to be able to make that perfect sandwich. You know, give you the bread, make you want to saddle up to my table and eat more. And that's what I really want to do in changing my style. The military style, it's very much like, I mean, you're up here, you're a sage on the stage, you're behind a podium at times. I don't want to lose my Zoom audience, but we generally have a pointer, and we're constantly pointing out facts and figures up on the side. And that was all way before we had PowerPoint. And it was crippling to be able to do that. It was very, yes, sir, this is the way it is. And the information had to flow from myself as a subordinate to my superiors and his staff. And I found out very soon that commanding generals do not know what's going on, but their staff does. And if you give them facts and figures, they take very good attention. And then they make you start doing that tap dance up here if your facts aren't correct. And that's true in anyone. You can come up here and be a speaker and tell people what they want to hear, but there has to be some substance behind that, the meat of your sandwich. And it's a very rigid style, and it rubs a lot of people the wrong way. When some poor person's up here tap dancing, you almost feel embarrassed for them, and you're hoping, just like Dave almost had a dental problem here, that someone would go up and pull his teeth. and you're gonna say, be astute of your surroundings and your audience. And by no means, do not waste people's time while you're up here either. Leadership, I got that weasel word in it. Simply, people were chosen by being leaders and privileged and having a higher education, and it wasn't open to everyone. But nowadays, we have opportunities today to be a leader, to be the leader you want to be in your community. The opportunities are there. You just have to reach out and take it. And many people today are saying, well, that's not for me. And they want to sit on the fence or look over the fence at you and everyone else trying to run their lives and trying to make things happen for them. Well, America, it doesn't really stand for that. Most of us come from immigrant stock, and it's because of our diversity and the mixture within our communities. And I know in my family alone, I'm a Heinz 57 person. My name is English. I have German. I have Sicilians, all through my bloodline. And we came here, the Crane family came here in 1640 to Connecticut. We were one of the founding families, 50 families of Connecticut. And that alone was news to me. I was never taught that. I had to find that out through my research. But the military draws heavily upon people that have a background in the military, and from people of power in the past in our history. But the surprising thing is, people that were considered the low of the low and of immigrant class and came off the boat contributed so highly to our history and the makeup of our country. And that truly is our strongest trait. In closing, I would like to tell you that one of my favorite presidents besides Lincoln was Teddy Roosevelt. TR was a self-made man, grew up, he was privileged, but he was ill. And he went out west and he made a man of himself, or what he thought he was a man. As a matter of fact, he actually gave a speech running for president where he had gotten shot in the chest, and he spent another hour doing the speech just to complete it. So we talk about a man's man, a little warped, but a man's man. And I love him dearly, but the statement, the quote he said, and I just want to get this right, is that do what you can with what you have when you can. Nobody's going to come like a cavalry and save you, like his ride up San Juan Hill. You're going to have to do it on your own with the people and resources you have around you. And you have a happy holiday, and I am so glad to be here with you folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I'm going to ask our timer if she can tell us if all of our speakers had time today.
I believe all of our speakers today used the buffer. Phil came in at 7:27 and Mark at 7:30. Nancy, I was a little late on when I started timing, but I believe she went over 8 minutes. So I believe her speech was supposed to be 5 to 7, as far as I'm aware. So she did go over even with the buffer.
Thank you, Madam Timer. So today we can vote for Phil or Mark. And I know that the basket's going around, and Len will put a survey up on Zoom. So today we talked about what gratitude is and why it's good for us. But we really didn't talk about how do you get in that place in the first way. And like any skill, Gratitude can be learned, it can be strengthened, and there's a couple of ways we can do that. First, start your day thinking about 3 things you're grateful for. And it doesn't have to be something huge like you won the lottery yesterday. It could be something small. It's like, oh, it's a sunny day. It's nice outside. It could be like, yeah, my dog came and licked my face and woke me up, so I wasn't late for work today. Just small things that make you happy. And that's what gratitude really is. Second of all, maybe start a gratitude journal. Write down those 3 things every day, just to remind yourself. And I've kind of put a challenge because I get into that habit of, yes, I'm happy it's a sunny day, day 1, day 2. Yes, it's nice out today. It's not raining. But try to come up with, there's 30 days in a month. And if you come up with 3 things, if you can come up with 100 things you're grateful for in a month, you're doing pretty good. And we can all do it because there's so much in our lives to be grateful for. So think about something like that. Make sure we're saying thank you. Go out of your way to say thank you to somebody every week. We've all been handed something nice. Make sure you're thanking those people. Fourth, take some time to be quiet, whether it's meditating or just sitting there in solitude and thinking about those things. Take some time to meditate on those things. And the 5th thing is focus more on other people's attentions. It's not about us. It's about the other people in our life. So think about where they're coming from and thank them for what they're doing for us or what we could be doing for them if we're thinking more about others. So I have some final thoughts on gratitude. Yes, my son finally did thank me for all the things that he has in his life. I was very grateful for that. But gratitude is without question a great emotion to cultivate. And hopefully we can make that a habit that translates into a trait in our lives. So I challenge all of you to start your practice today. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to our general evaluator. She will. Yeah, okay. I will call on the evaluators. I'm going to go in about 5-10 minutes. Our first evaluator is Mike Licata, and he is going to be evaluating Phil Russell. Mike, tell us about Phil.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning again, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Phil. Phil, thank you again for stepping up. I know you always come prepared and your speeches always make an impact. Your call to actions are very, very important because it creates a lot of self-reflection for your fellow members. I think you do a great job with your beginning, your middle, and the end of your speech. It did meander a little bit in the middle, but overall it made a great impact and your call to action was very important. Toastmasters, and especially with how the new systems work and things like that, it's important that we all become mentors to each other, even whether or not you're a veteran like yourself or you're a newer member. It's important to make sure that everyone that wants to learn can learn. They can use all the resources we have within Toastmasters, and that you've done a great job adapting to Zoom better than most. You still have a great presence. So the other suggestions I would make is your eyes stray from your camera a little bit. I know that with the older generation, it's harder to remember exactly where the camera lens is, so I would suggest doing that going forward. I know that you've adapted really well. You have a great presence on Zoom. I also applaud your effort for trying to rejoin us in person. I'm looking forward to your next in-person meeting, but I want to thank you again for stepping up today. You gave us a lot to think about this morning as fellow Toastmasters. And I want to wish you good luck on your journey going forward. And I will call up our general evaluator because I think our Toastmaster just left.
Is still with us. I have to adjust. Our evaluator, number 2, Beth Banks. She's evaluating Nancy. Yeah. Thank you, General Evaluator. I did have the opportunity to evaluate Nancy Rose, so I just have some comments, some things to make. I love the creativity of a contest. That was very, very good. Obviously very calendar time appropriate because you were having a contest about holiday cooking. The props were great for those of you on Zoom. She was very well prepared there. She not only had the cookies, she had very pretty boxes. The cookies came in. She had a tablecloth for her contest, so that the props really do mean a lot to me. I think it's hard to stay on time when you're working with other people in your speech. You don't really know how long they will talk. That is the way it is. So I have a suggestion. You do have the ability to add time prior to your speech. Make it a 10 to 12 minute speech instead of a 5 to 7 minute, and you would have stayed in time then. So that, just a suggestion there to work on that. Some things I'd like you to maybe work on. There are times when you pause, but it's a little too long, so it then becomes a little distracting to the people. So just think about that. As the contest maestro, you were not always on the camera and looking at the Zoom for those participants. I think we all participated well here, but Zoom participants maybe not so much. So stay on that camera. They want to see you. Let's see. I think that's it for my suggestions. One thing that I really like about Nancy is she is always smiling. She keeps the room positive. Certainly very appropriate for our theme of gratitude today. Smiling at people and appearing to be happy goes a long way. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, General Evaluator. And our third evaluator, who will be evaluating Mark, is David Licata. Here.
Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and Mark. I'm going to try to be astute this morning. And I want to give him some praise, because as I've gone through my Toastmasters career, especially as an evaluator, you always want to be conscious about how did he start the speech, he or she start the speech and pull the audience in. So Mark this morning did a nice job at the start of the speech explaining what his goals were, and that's how he pulled us in. But then there's physical things, or excuse me, things that are not verbal. So the nonverbal thing, the demonstration of the gloves, for some reason, I thought that was pretty cool. And it brought us in, because he was telling us that he had to warn himself and be more conscious of gestures. And this running through my theme this morning of my evaluation is that he's incredibly sincere. He's sincere about being a Toastmaster. He's sincere about helping the people that he comes in contact with. So he's a real asset to this club. Now, at one point during the speech, you walked away from the microphone, which is fine for the room, but bad for Zoom. Because now I'm sure they were straining, the people in Zoom land were straining to hear you. And just because this is a tiny thing and you're only guilty of it for a very short time, but you put your hands in your pockets once, you can't, don't do that. No, that's not good. Now, that's where you can improve. And as in the further notes too, everybody's pace can be better. Everybody's vocal variety can be better. So I'm calling on you to work on those aspects. Not just you though, but all of us, myself included. Now I want to give him huge kudos that this early in his AM Lockport career, he realized that he wanted to do the change-up speech. This is a great idea. That he already decided that he wanted to change his delivery. And my personal kudos come from the fact that I too am a Teddy Roosevelt aficionado, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. Well, Madam Timer, how did our evaluators do?
All three of our evaluators did qualify today. Mike came in at 2 minutes exactly, Beth at 2:23, and Dave at 3:02.
Okay, Lynn will put up the survey of the three evaluators. As Tracy said, she had to leave early. Her work hours started a little bit earlier than she wanted to. And I will now call for a couple of reports. We're going to start with the and grammarian, which is Carol Ann. How did we do this morning?
I was quite impressed that even with the table topics, which is spontaneous, everyone spoke very smoothly with very few pauses. Mike Florio had one restart when he was speaking. Mark had a and an ah, but I was impressed with his phrase that he wanted a meteor sandwich in the speech. And Beth, I know she used the word opportunity when she was doing her evaluation. That actually that is an opportunity for us. And I'm hesitating a little here just to and also I remember my 10th grade teacher, when I was giving a speech, I said because instead of because. So I pick up on that with a couple people saying because. And I was very impressed with the quotes that Kate used to express the gratitude for our table topics. And we did well today.
Great.
Madam General Evaluator.
Great. I did it backwards. I'm doing the job holders because and then I will do the evaluation of the evaluators and Toastmaster this morning. Also, we had the quiz master, Marty. Could you test us in our listening skills?
Thank you, Sylvia. As promised, I do have a few questions. How many hours did Tracy work at one point in her career, did she say? 70, correct. Eric's quote from Brian Tracy said, every step forward is a step, what? To, it was, what, someone said bigger and better things or positive things. What did Jackie Kenny say happens when you have the attitude gratitude? The attitude of gratitude. What did someone say? Right, positive things happen, spills over into others. What did Mike Florio say was the value in his life? He gave one example, and personally, starts with an H. Health, right? In Mark's speech, who did Mark quote? Who did Mark quote? Teddy Roosevelt, right? Tracy suggested starting your day with what type of thoughts? Positive. Right, positive thoughts and things that you're grateful for. That concludes my Quizmaster report. Thank you all for being astute today. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Marty. Before I go to the word master, Gerald Stevens, I'm going to do the evaluation of the evaluators. The three evaluators, I'll use the sandwich approach. They start off with some good points, good suggestions. Some I didn't even think of because I was trying to evaluate the speakers at the same time of what I would say if I had to evaluate the speaker. And the suggestions, it was very hard with Phil. He's very experienced Toastmaster, and Mike picked up on the camera. I noticed that also. That's the only thing I picked up, Phil. Everything else, your gestures, your facial expressions, the speech theme today was so appropriate. Nancy also, who evaluated you? Beth. She did another sandwich approach. She gave some good suggestions. Also, I like that you used a headset. We all should start getting away from this thing because everybody clutches to it one time or another. And it was fun. It was a fun way of starting the morning. Dave, also sandwich approach. You did do a lot. You did give Mark good suggestions, and he's going to absorb them. He does that, and he brings it into the next speech. As word master, Gerald Stevens, how did the word go today?
Good job, fellow Toastmasters. You have stepped up and used the word of the day in the second half of the meeting. Bill, Tracy, Mark, Marty, and Dave is who I noticed. If anybody else did use the word of the day, good job. Being that I am the president of the club and the general evaluator just passed off at the meeting to me on the side, I will continue on with what's going on for the rest of the meeting here. I did want to say before I gave the awards out here that great job everybody today stepping up. We had some vacancies. The holidays does get a little crazy and people do get overwhelmed a little bit. And in the last couple of meetings, we've had a couple of great themes to help people with that. So I did want to give you all kudos for doing that today. Let's start off with our best table topics today. Our best table topics is Jackie Kenny. Jackie is drinking her tea and said, thank you. Our best evaluator today, Dave Licata. Would you like to come up for a ribbon? Job well done, all evaluators.
It's red, thank you.
And it's red. He likes the older ones. The old school. Dave is definitely old school. And our best speaker on Zoom land is Phil Russell. Congratulations, Phil. Round of applause. great job to have us thinking about succession and gathering more Toastmasters. I love the theme and the speech overall. I did want to also remind everybody in 2 weeks, we do have our Christmas meeting. I did send an email around. I had a few people email me back. I will send it around again. So think about any goodies you might want to bring. You could come in some sort of Christmas attire. It could be a hat or whatever you like, a sweater.
Kitchen for, Jackie's going to Buffalo costume and get the Mrs. Claus outfit.
Mrs. Claus outfit, okay. I know Mark Crane has talked about coming maybe next meeting as Santa Claus. I don't know if he will, but
If I'm not on the road.
if he's not on the road, so that's a possibility for tomorrow or for next meeting, but not for the Christmas meeting because he's busy, I think, so.
By the way, I see some golden agers at noon as Santa.
Yes, so Mark has seen some golden agers at noon for Santa as Santa. So he does play Santa, which is pretty cool. And I don't know if you guys know that he does that for the community and overall awesome type of thing to do for sure. I do want to mention that we do have in January our upcoming contests. So it is a good idea to start preparing a little ahead of time. The Tall Tales contest and the international contest in the local meeting contest will be here. Date to be determined is in January. The schedule will be getting the work on, I'm sure, with Len here shortly, and we can start organizing for the next quarter. Our best speaker, I can't really have picked the winning ticket here for Split Club. So I'm going to ask if Marty would come over here since he's close to us and just pick a random ticket.
Last three numbers, 595.
595. Margot wins. So we will. She puts in every week, yeah, for the whole year. So that's pretty awesome. I don't know if she donates it to the club or not, but Mike will take her the money, and if she decides to buy a latte or something, that'd be great. For next meeting, just to give a heads up, Dave Licata is Toastmaster. He's in the restroom at the moment. Anne Marie is speaker. Les Robinson is also speaker. Mark, will you be on the road, you think, next week, or are you going to be able to make it? Because you're listed as a speaker. I know you spoke today. I don't know if you want to do 2 in a row. If not, that's fine. Okay, so if he's not able to, he'll let us know. And Len is listed as alternate speaker. Any other announcements from the gallery or Zoom land? Marty has an announcement. Come on up, Marty. Yes.
I wanted to make a note for Kate. I think Kate, are you there?
No, she left. She's
Okay.
on her way to work.
I just wanted to make a note for the record on Mark's project, just a little technical thing. And I just want to make sure that when he gets credit for his speech on the agenda, it was listed as, it wasn't the project that he did. It was supposed to be presentation mastery is his path. And I think he had something else listed, just so it doesn't gum it up down the line. So if someone could adjust that on the agenda, that would be appreciated. And I think after the meeting, I don't think the member can go in and do it. So I think the VP of E might have access or someone, I don't know, Len.
No, Mark,
Jill can do all that. Who can do it? Jill, okay. So we'll just have to make sure that Jill does that, just so he gets credit for his speech under the correct path. That's all. That's all. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be a problem. So just to work your way with the Toastmasters International and make sure you just put it in there, and that's where it really counts anyway. Yeah, so TI is the place that counts. Okay, any other announcements or questions? Anything for the good of the order? And at 8:19, the meeting is adjourned.